What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. Okay, well, I know that I'm a couple of days late here, but this is my 5 biggest takeaways from the most recent town hall, which was on October 24th, 9 a.m. Eastern time in the U.S. So, a couple things have happened already, but actually before I even jump into all of that, as a reminder or for people who are new to the channel, this is my 5 biggest takeaways. It is not a summary. What we are looking at right now is the official written summary by the team, but there are also fantastic written and video content creators out there who put together summaries for these every single week. So make sure you go and support them. For me, this is just the 5 things that I thought were worth discussing, and that's what we're going to dive a little bit deeper into here. So, number 1, let's actually go right into it. Rooney launch partner is announced as OpenSea. And yes, I know I'm recording this late because the Rooney mint has already happened. I'm recording this on Thursday, so it's like 3 days late. But the Rooney mint has already happened. I'm sorry, the Rooney whitelist mint has already happened. But the OpenSea partnership really does not go into effect until November 3rd when we get the main or the general sale launch. So 2,000 out of the 6,500 Rooney, are eligible to be minted with the whitelist, and then we're going to have the other 4,500 available for the general sale, at which point it sounds like OpenSea is going to have pretty much Splinterlands exclusively on the front page. They're going to be driving as much traffic as they can to it. So I think that this is a great partnership. I am excited to see what happens. I am reserved a little bit in terms of my hopium just because, it's a bear market, guys. So I don't know how. I'm not as familiar with the NFT trading on Ethereum, so it's difficult for me to discuss, and I don't want to get too hyped up for something that I don't fully understand, or even if I do fully understand, I don't like being too hyped up. And so with this OpenSea thing, I do think it's a big deal, and just the fact that we have a little blue check mark on OpenSea shows that we are a verified project. So at least to OpenSea standards, they have vetted the team or vetted the project to a certain extent. So hopefully for those outside who are very active on the Ethereum platform or with trading NFT PFP, then I think I think that this could be big in terms of bringing that interest in. And keep in mind once again that the Rooney cards and the NFTs, it is not meant to be for the Splinterlands community. Now, the Splinterlands community gets a benefit by being or having first access to it, with the 100 voucher whitelist price. But for the most part, they are not targeting us. They are trying to use this as a way to get other larger Ethereum whales into the game. So we'll see how it plays out. I think that they're doing all of the right things in order to succeed. So if they do not succeed, I don't think that it's the artwork. I don't think it's the marketing or partnerships. I believe that it's just, we are in a bear market and nobody is looking to spend thousands of dollars or hundreds to thousands of dollars on a JPEG if they don't fully understand what it is about. It's different for us because we value the utility in game, but many others who look at PFP projects as just, things to flip or things to collect, they might not be in the market right now. But that being said, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm being a little too conservative, and we get to see this project absolutely succeed with flying colors for the team. Okay, number 2, and you know what? We'll just keep it here. So number 2, this is a big one for me. Pack burning is being discussed now, and I've said many times that I believe that the Chaos Legion packs here, so if packs were to be burned, it would be over time and probably not all at once. Packs burned would more or less count as packs sold, so airdrops would still happen as normal. So I think the way that I understood it, it's like maybe at a certain date, they start burning X amount of packs per week just to start getting through them. And again, just the fact that this is being discussed is kind of disappointing to me. I understand where people are coming from, and I understand even why the team might consider it, but this is kind of in line with the recent proposals as well. It's just like, you set out to do something, and we're in a bear market, and I understand that there are times at which it is crucial to pivot, and I just don't think that I just don't think that burning Chaos Legion packs, which count as company revenue. So, if the team is talking about doing this, like, they're cutting into their revenue, they're cutting into what they need in order to pay the devs that are bringing us this awesome game. And not just the devs, just this, creative team, everybody, they're cutting into that. And I don't want it to cripple them. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's my biggest thing. It's like, I don't want them to cut their own knees off because they feel like this is something that could potentially help in the future. Now, if there's just not enough appetite, if the player base is completely tapped out, which is a belief that they have, right? Because they want to try and make Riftwatcher packs cheaper for DEC. Again, I'm not a fan of it. But to be fair, okay? So we are in October, which is a full year after the pre-sale began last year, because I believe that began October 18th, 2021. And I did say that once we hit the 1 year mark, and that 1 year mark was flexible, right? It could count anywhere from October, which is the pre-sale, to January, which is the beginning of the general sale. My thought process was, once we hit that 1 year mark, then maybe we can start having that conversation. So to be fair, and to try to call myself out, we are at that 1 year mark and the team is starting to have that conversation. Does that mean I like it or agree with it? Not necessarily, but at this point in time, I would love to know why the team is considering it. I would love to get a better idea of where they're coming from and what their, potential outlook is for Chaos Legion, Rebellion, and beyond. So, at this point in time, talking macro again, which I know I go into a lot, but I do believe that is driving a lot of what's happening in the Splinterlands economy. I'm not seeing much of a change in the global macro economy. So unless and until we hear a pivot from the Fed or interest rates or inflation going down dramatically, it's going to be tough going. So maybe this is the right time to start having that conversation, or at least put the option on the table. So for those of you who've been calling it for it for a while, I hope you are happy that it is now being considered, and I will go ahead and leave it with that. Okay, number 3, power and bloodstones. And let me see if they had something in here. So they did not. So, okay, the only thing that I want to say on power and bloodstones is everybody's waiting for this in terms of voucher utility. It does not seem like it's going to be coming anytime soon. And what I mean by that is we are still waiting for SPS Brawl rewards. Now, in last week's town hall, Cryptomancer did give like a rough timeline of mid to late November. So I don't think, and I think power and bloodstones were kind of discussed there as well. So I don't think that power and bloodstones are going to be, I don't think that they're going to be what we need from a voucher, ongoing voucher utility. Or I don't know how much they're going to suck up the vouchers that are currently being printed at a very, very high rate. But that is still like 2-ish months away, right? Or I mean, maybe a month and a half away, because it's going to have to happen after SPS Brawl rewards go live. And at this point in time, we are looking at, 20 to 30 days or, end of November, which is a full month from now, at which point that could go live. So power and bloodstones, I know people are excited. A lot of people were asking about it in the comment section for the town hall, but I'm just not seeing that as something that's going to come in the near future. Okay, number 4, and this was interesting, and let me see if they talked about anything here. So here we go. Splinterlands app versus mobile browser. So Splinterlands team is pushing towards a mobile-friendly platform rather than keeping up support for the SPL app. So or if you don't know, Google and Apple charge about 30% per transaction, and what they're trying to avoid is having to pay or have us pay those transaction fees. So the whole big thing with tech modernization, which I know we've been hearing about for months, but the whole big thing with tech modernization is to, from my understanding, have it so that when they make a change to the platform, it automatically rolls over to mobile. Mobile will just kind of be a carbon copy of what's happening on the main site, but formatted for mobile. And so in that way, everybody who's wanting a new app, we're not going to get a new app. What it sounds like is they want to make the mobile version of the game. So you just use your browser on your phone. They want to make that tight, functional, and pretty, right? So hopefully we do get something like that. But this is, again, I don't know where tech monetization is because we've been talking about tech monetization for about 4 months at this point. So, and it sounds like there was a push initially and then they had to roll it back. So they're saying here tech monetization is the first big push to update the tech framework that will make the platform mobile friendly. So this will be rolled out in iterations as it is a very big project. First rollout is in regards to the nav bar. All new features like the non-card market land are built on top of this new framework. So this tech modernization is probably one of the big culprits for why everything has gone so late. But it is a big project, and it's something that we don't necessarily see on the front end. It's more back end. So for those of you wondering what the latest is on the Splinterlands app, just know that the team has no interest in developing the app further or updating it, and they are going to pivot at some point to the mobile browser, but there's really no time frame, although I would actually be optimistic on this. I mean, they've been talking about tech modernization for a while, and while they have not given us specific things, the fact that they've been talking about it for a while means that hopefully they're at least somewhere close to their V1, and then they'll be able to work on V2 and V3, right? So I'm hoping that we get something awesome for that. And at the very least, I know that tower defense is something that they want to be able to run and have run well on mobile. So again, I know these timeframes aren't the best, but if they do hit their Q1 target for tower defense, and we'll just push that as late as possible, so like end of March 2023, then that's like 6-ish months from now. So, it's not great, but it's also not, there's a kind of time frame in which we can expect certain things. But hopefully we get something way sooner than that, because 6 months in crypto and the world in general is a very long time. Okay, so last thing, Aggie said something about there being too many vouchers. So in addition to, it looks like they don't have anything in here, but in addition to DEC and these proposals to try and get DEC back to PEG, something that just needs to be addressed is vouchers. And I'm glad that Aggie talked about it. Now, I don't know what happens, because at this point in time, if you remove, we have 40,000 vouchers dropping every single day, and people are not buying 40,000 packs every single day, right? So just keep that in mind. In order to buy a Rift Watcher pack, in order to buy a Tower Defense pack, they each require vouchers. And then, Chaos Legion doesn't, but you can get bonus packs with it. So there's just not enough ongoing utility with vouchers, which I know we've been screaming from the mountaintops for a long time. This is the first time I've heard Agro actually acknowledge that and say that they are looking into how to reduce the number of vouchers. Now, the problem that you run into here is you are going to piss somebody off once again, right? Because this is where I keep going to with the whole like value add versus value removal or perceived removal. People have bought and staked a bunch of SPS. People have bought nodes. And both of those right now are giving 20,000 vouchers per day each for SPS stakers and for node license holders. So if you were to take it from the node license holders, they would feel slighted, right? They would feel like, I am a node license holder, but I think I can speak on behalf of many who just be like, yeah, we got in because we wanted a ton of vouchers, and now you're taking this away, and maybe they replace it with something else, maybe they don't. But if they take it away or reduce it, it's kind of a huge nerf. If they do the same thing with SPS, if they reduce it or remove it, that sucks. And I will tell you right now, as somebody who is a big believer in SPS and is trying to stake as much SPS as possible, you better not touch that SPS, right? Like, I don't care as much about node licenses, but from the get-go, from the launch of SPS, that was something that's like the team wants you to buy and stake as much SPS as possible. Then they came out with nodes, and they gave literally the only the main utility for SPS, which was staking for vouchers. They gave that to node license holders, and I was kind of upset about that. So if they nerf that anymore, and I know people will look at the SPS SPS vouchers or the no license vouchers and think that wasn't a nerf to SPS, but it was. It's devaluing. We're talking about inflation here with the general macroeconomy, right? So it's like, if you print more of it, then the value just goes down. And that's exactly what they did. They printed more and they gave it to this other new asset that they were launching. And I was really not happy with it. I'm still not happy with it, but I ended up going heavy on nodes because I had to pivot, right? I didn't want to, but I had to pivot in order to feel like I was, kind of diversified and had good exposure to getting vouchers, to getting SPS and all that. But in the future, I have no idea what their plans are. And my worry is there's going to be some kind of, what's that called? Some kind of proposal similar to what we got with the DEC proposals for Rift Watcher and node license holders, where the team comes out and says, well, we're going to reduce the amount of vouchers to node licenses, or we're going to reduce it to SPS. And we have to do this. And it sucks. It's going to suck for you in the short term, but long term, this is what's the most important thing for the economy. And again, I understand that many people don't really like that, that approach. And we've seen a lot of that approach in game. And I think for the first time, I really felt it when those proposals came in. But again, if that's kind of the attitude, if it's this, hey, you got to take a hit for the long-term sustainability, at some point that's going to wear off. Just saying. At some point that's going to wear off and people are going to be like, wait, we're just taking hit after hit after hit for the good of the economy. And while we all believe in this project, it's like we are making financial decisions that are, based on things that we don't believe are going to change, right? That are somewhat set in stone, or that we would have the power to vote, for or against. And again, we do have the power to vote for or against these things. And I don't think they're going to introduce anything that we can't vote on. But obviously, if the team is proposing something, the general sentiment then, or general, expected sentiment, is that most of the team is going to be aligned with it. Now, several team members, high profile, have come out and obviously said that they weren't against the other proposals that came out for DEC. But on the whole, if it's being proposed, it is being thought of by the highest members of the team as the best solution to place forward. So I'm not trying to call anybody out. I'm not trying to say whether it's right or wrong. In fact, a certain part of me is looking at these DEC proposals and trying to figure out, okay, I get it. I know that we want for the best for the community and we want the best for the ecosystem, but there's, like I've been saying, there's got to be a better way, right? And I don't know, maybe they do take a good hit, right? Maybe we do take a hit and it ends up being a good thing. I don't know, and I can't confidently say that. All I know is that I feel as though we have hit and miss before, or we have been burned before. And what's funny is that nobody's really talking about the tower defense packs. I don't see that being brought up, so I'm bringing it up again myself, because that's one of the biggest drivers for me to say no, is like, we were told the same thing with tower defense packs, and therefore diluting SPS further and essentially taking another hit on SPS to that, the value of the SPS that we're holding, just taking that hit 6 months earlier and not having to earn it, but just, people getting it airdropped again for free. Again, we're essentially in airdrop 2.0 with SPS and land and all that. So at this point in time, it's just like we took that hit and it didn't move the needle. And when you see, the team talking about, okay, well, we're gonna have to take this hit, and it's gonna be like ripping off a Band-Aid, and we're gonna be back to peg within a day or 3 days or 4 days, right? Part of me looks at that and says, well, this is what I talk about in terms of loss of confidence, right? Many folks, including myself, would have looked at that and been like, yeah, let's do it. Now it's like, well, the last thing didn't work, so why don't we think this through a little bit more before we start just like trying X, Y, and Z. So this whole part has gotten kind of off the rails now, but going back to what the whole point of number 5 is the fact that there's too many vouchers. So I don't know what to expect, but the conversations are now being had, at least publicly, on the town hall. And Agro has said that the team is looking into this and considering it. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see a proposal in the near future. So that is all I have for you guys. I don't think there was even any eye candy or anything. It was a short town hall. I don't believe you missed much. Most of the time I try to encourage people to go back and watch or listen, but I don't think that you missed much. And as I said, I'm recording this late, so clearly there wasn't anything that was like super burning to get out there. But overall, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I will catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.